going on, guys? Thank you for joining this episode of Phenomenal Outdoors. Now today I got another trail camera video, kind of just a little few tips, quick tricks, this and that on how what I do for trail cameras, and just talking like I usually do. A lot of you guys like these informational videos when I share tips and tricks on this one product, so that's what I'm gonna do today. Today I set up a trail camera. It's an old-fashioned wall tree camera. You can see behind me. You see me set it up. I already have another camera down there. You guys see me set that up in the first episode of the series I'm starting. You guys have seen some footage from that camera. It's over the salt block, a big corn attractant site. You know, it's my attractant site down there. That's the camera. Right now I'm setting this camera up, and you can see we're in a field. This camera's gonna be taken down as soon as all this stuff starts growing. They've already planted corn, they've already sprayed, all that good stuff. And like I said before, the farmer is nice enough to let us hunt this property every year, but in return, she doesn't want us hunting it while the crops and stuff are standing. She don't want us destroying her crops and stuff like that, which is fine with me. Where the attraction side is, I can hunt season long, because they don't plant on that side of the property. So I can hunt on that side, but I can't hunt on this side while the crops are standing, which I understand that. But right now I got a camera set up in the field, so I'll take it down as soon as I see the crops are starting to get tall and all that good stuff. Reason I'm setting it up is number one, we've had a lot of deer activity in the attractant site, and a few trees down is the same tree I put a tree stand on every year, and this is usually the tree I set a tree camera on every year. So I just want to see if there's any deer activity going on right now, kind of just to keep me entertained, because you know, like I said, we can't hunt this property until after they harvest, which is we can't hunt this side of the property until after they harvest, which is sometime in October. So there's really no point in seeing any activity on this property right now, but I want that camera to be there. That way when October does come, I have an idea of what's going on. Plus we're about to start doing a lot of coyote hunting, and when we coyote hunting, we can hunt before the crops and stuff. And on my attracting site, I actually had a video of like 3 does getting chased by a coyote and all that good stuff, and there's coyote tracks everywhere. So I want to see if there's any nice sized deer going down. I don't know if you guys can see that, but right there, like literally beside the camera, there's the trail. That trail wasn't there last year. That's why I usually put the camera up right there. But it's a small trail going through a bunch of weeds and stuff. I kind of do think it's a predator trail. This camera's set up kind of just to see if there's any coyote activity, more so than deer. You know, I'd love to see some big deer. All the bucks have shedded, so you know, I won't be able to see no antlers on deer or nothing like that yet. But this is usually the side of the property where we do a lot of coyote hunting, so I set a camera up and just see what's going through. Right here where the dirt is, there's coyote tracks like crazy. But I'm gonna do a few tips on this trail camera setups. Some of the tips are the same ones I've shared in the past, and all that good stuff. Now you can see right there, literally like right there behind the camera is the fence line. The tree that the camera is on this side of the property, which I do have permission to put the camera on. If it was on that side of the property, I wouldn't have permission to put the camera on that tree, because the tree is not part of this property. I don't have permission to hunt that property. Now when I set a trail camera up on something like this, down there I have no problem. Down there it's all of this property. But if I set a camera up on a property like this, the issue is finding a tree that is on this side of the fence line, because even if just a little trail camera, if it's on that side of the fence line, even if it's angled towards your property, if a game warden sees that and stuff, you can get a ticket and all that good stuff. So a problem is, you know, this is a cornfield, so most of the trees are on that side of the property. That's why that tree is like so tiny. It's like a sapling, but it's one of the only trees that are in a good area for a camera without a bunch of weeds being in the way and stuff like that. There are, you know, some poison ivy, but I'm immune to it, so it's whatever. But one thing you can use for an advantage when you're setting up a camera on a property fence line, just because you don't have permission to go on that property, or you don't have permission to go you know, to hunt that property, anything like that, you know, if a deer comes off that property onto this property, it's fair game. If you're setting up in a tree stand and that property's behind you and you're watching a deer and it steps onto this property, you know, it's fair game. So one thing I like to do is, even though I'm not allowed to go on that property, when I'm walking up when I'm walking up this trail or up the edge line of the field looking for a camera to, a tree to set a camera on, is I'm looking for trails coming out of the woods into the field. And you can see right there, I recommend not putting a camera literally right on the trail. I didn't mean to do that. I'll probably end up moving it. I didn't notice the trail was there until I started the camera, because the trail is usually not there. But you can see there's a trail coming from the woods right past the camera into this field. There's all kinds of stuff like that. I like walking up this fence line looking for tracks. During the rut, I'll be looking for rubs, scrapes, anything like that that lets me know there's deer on the property, and I'll set a camera, because this field, along with a few other surrounding fields, are the only food source they have. This field, this spot of woods don't have no food plots or nothing like that. So even though I'm not allowed to go on that property, not allowed to hunt that property, I can still walk up this line and scout for good, there's like 5 helicopters right there. So I wonder if that's military helicopters, I'm not sure. But anyway, sorry if you can barely hear me. There's like 5 helicopters flying over. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, the trails. So even though I'm not allowed to go on there, if I was walking this property and I seen a nice trail, I wouldn't be able to walk it to scout or nothing like that. But if there is a trail that tells me, hey, there's deer using that trail to come to this field, I'm setting the camera right there, or I'm gonna set a stand somewhere around here. Especially if I look over that fence and see it's destroyed with tracks, it means it's active. Next is, a lot of people have been asking, why do I use cheap cameras? You can see the camera behind me is, and I'll show a better clip of it, is an old-fashioned Moultrie camera that has barely any settings. It don't have no time lapse or nothing like that. It's just a on and off camera. You can change it to photos or videos, and that's pretty much it. And the camera I have over my tracking site is a $25 Tasco camera you can get from Walmart. Same thing, not many settings, no time lapse settings, video, pictures, and that's it. And I use Wild Game Innovation cameras, but I use the $50 cameras, stuff like that. A lot of people ask me, like, why do I use cheap cameras instead of going out and buying $200 cameras, $300 cameras? Nowadays almost every camera that they're coming out with has time-lapse features, a bunch of these other features that you really don't need, and they come out with cameras that, so you don't have to go out and check your camera all the time. They as soon as they snap a photo, they send it right to your phone. That stuff is amazing if you have the money to do it, and if you have the property where it's necessary. If you're a big landowner and you have your own property and you plant food plots and all that stuff, I completely understand why you would need something like that, or why you would want something like that. For me, I'm hunting private property every year. I don't have my own property. I'm hunting some other property that I'm lucky enough to get permission to hunt every year. So I'm not going to go out and spend $300 on a camera and put on the only piece of property I have permission to hunt, when the following year, something might happen where I can't hunt it. There's really no public, there's public land around me, but the public land that's in my area is literally flooded. You cannot go 5 minutes without running into another hunter. So I hate hunting public land unless I'm going to southern Ohio, somewhere like that, where it's just big pieces of property. Private property is where I hunt. Another question is, why don't I plant food plots? Same thing is, yeah, I have permission to hunt this property, and I have permission to put salt blocks and stuff down, and salt does kill the grass, so I have permission to do that. Have permission to put salt blocks, corn, and cameras and tree stands and all that stuff. And yeah, on another piece of property I hunt just 1 street over, I have permission to go through with weed eaters and stuff and make my own trails. But it's not my property to go in and cut down trees and plant a food plot. Especially like this property. This is probably one of my favorite properties to hunt, even though it's a big field. Deer, this spot of woods right here is flooded with deer, and every evening they come to that attraction site. And last season I wasn't, almost every time I came out here I seen 2 or 3 deer. So why would I need a food plot when I'm hunting a big field that has food in it every year? And I got an attraction site that they're good. They're used to coming to. Food plots are necessary. I understand it, and if I had my own property, I'd 100% do it. But like I said before, my whole motto on this channel, as of right now, is hunting on a budget. I show you guys what I do, and I show you guys how to do it cheap. And so I don't spend $100 on cameras. Believe it or not, most of the trail cameras I have I got for free. This one right behind me I found in a dumpster. Not a dumpster, I found in a trash can. I was riding bikes with a friend and we went through a plat and this was still in the box. Now was it brand new or not, I don't know. The box was open, but I don't know if the camera's ever been used, but it worked when I set it up and I've been using it ever since. So, and then, you know, like 2 other cameras were given to me. I get a lot of my stuff, you know, if you know people that hunt, you can get a lot of stuff on a budget, you can get a lot of stuff cheap. Trail camera locations for a cornfield, there's really nowhere specific I'd like to put it. You know, just set it on a fence line, set it on a post and stuff like that. You're not gonna be able to watch the whole cornfield, of course, but you'll be able to watch where they're moving. I got this set up right on the main spot that they, like right on the edge, and this is close to the middle of the field. From my attractant area to the end of this field, this is pretty much the center. And why I picked the center is because I don't really hunt on that end of the property. I just don't. I've had cameras up there before and I just never really get any activity, even from a coyote up there. So I don't go up to that end of the property. I stay towards either the center or down to the attractant site. And there's also another cornfield on the other side of my attractant site that we've just never had any activity in. I don't know why. You know, they're all in the same area, but like right here and my attractant site is where all the activity goes. And like I said, about 4 trees over is where I usually put my tree stand. There's really not much to it at all. You know, you just pick a tree. A lot of people's been, you know, I did this video number one because I was gonna put a camera out here in the field anyway, and a few people have been asking me, like, you know, where do you set a camera up when you're, you know, when you're in a field and there's really not many places to do and you're hunting private property. You know, it's real easy. Pick a tree and make sure it's on the side of the property you have permission to hunt, and go for it. If you know, a lot of fields like this field right here are backed up by a big piece of land, big piece of woods, or a big piece of somebody else's property. So you know, if you're hunting a field, like say I'm hunting right now, and even if I was to put a tree stand up, I wouldn't be able to put a tree stand up on a tree at all unless the base of the tree is on this side of the fence line. I honestly didn't know that until last season, and I think we was having some issues with something going on the property, and we ended up contacting the game warden, and he said it's illegal to put a tree stand on a tree unless the base of the tree is on your side of the property. So if this is, like, say this is the fence, the base could be right here, and the tree could like curve over the fence onto the next property, and that's perfectly fine as long as the base is on this side of the property. So you learn something new every day, and same thing goes for trail cameras. That tree right there is on this side of the property. If I was to put it on that tree right there, it's on that side of the property. Even though it's aiming this way and it's capturing anything on my side of the fence line, it's on that property. So technically, even though I'm not physically on there, I got a camera on there and I'm trespassing. So guys, that's just a quick video for you guys, quick tips. Hope I answered your guys' questions, and I hope I did the video good.